What's up, travellers? Welcome back to the channel. SJ Aviation HQ. Welcome back to the channel today. Today we had the model review of the Iraqi Airways Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner released by JC Wings. Before anything though, go ahead and leave a thumbs up below. Great indication of how much you enjoyed today's video and of course the content here on this channel. Like what you see so far and you want to come along and support my whereabouts here on YouTube even further, go ahead and smash the subscribe button below. It'll be a great way to support me here on YouTube, and of course it would help my channel a lot, so thank you very much in advance. So as mentioned, the model review of the Iraqi Airways Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner released by JC Wings. This was released by JC Wings in their May of 2023 release, so very cool indeed. This was my first and it is my only Iraqi Airways model in my collection, and of course as a 787 operator it was going to make its way into my collection at some point in time, and here it is. I'm pretty sure this is the only model review on YouTube, I may be incorrect saying this, of this model, the Iraqi Airways 787-8 by JC Wings. So very cool. So going into today's video, I'm going to first read out some information about Iraqi Airways as an airline, and then some information about this particular airframe we're looking at today, and then after that I'll be showcasing the box in front of you, and then after that showcasing the model for you guys. So founded in June of 1945, Iraqi Airways is the national flag carrier of Iraq and is headquartered on the ground of Baghdad International Airport. At 80 years of age, Iraqi Airways is the second oldest airline in the Middle East behind Egypt Air. According to planespotters.net, Iraqi Airways has an aircraft fleet consisting of 41 aircraft, including 2 of the Boeing 787s, both of which being the shorter Dash 8 variant of the Dreamliner family, with an average age of some 23 years. Iraqi Airways have a total of 7 Boeing 787-8 Dreamliners and a solitary or a single Boeing 787-9 on order for future delivery. So very cool indeed. I will go ahead and definitely get that Dash 8 in the future, sorry, the Dash 9 in the future. So going into some information about this particular airframe now. This aircraft's MSN number or manufacturer serial number is 4014, sorry, it's 40108, so 40108. This aircraft's line number is 1146, so that means that this aircraft was the 1146th 787 to roll off the production line at Boeing. This aircraft is a Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner, the shortest of the variants of the Dreamliner family, because we had the Dash 8, the shortest, the Dash 9, the middle variant, and of course the longest Dash 10 variant. This aircraft being a 2.5-year-old 787, which performed its first flight on May the 9th of 2023, so very cool. This aircraft here was built and produced in Charleston in South Carolina. That's where the main plant is for Boeing now. They do still have the plant where they originated in Everett, Painfield, but the majority of the 787 production line is in Charleston now. And this aircraft is currently active on the network for Iraqi Airways. We're in the registration of Yankee India-Alpha Tango Charlie, or YI-ATC, for those that aren't too familiar with the phonetic alphabet. Again, this aircraft being a Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner, which was delivered to Iraqi Airways on June the 21st of 2023. This aircraft is equipped with 2 General Electric Gen X 1 Bravo engines, specifically the Gen X 1 Bravo 70 variant. This aircraft was ferried between Charleston and Baghdad in Iraq on June the 21st and 22nd of 2023 of its delivery flight. So very cool indeed. So with that information out of the way, let's go ahead and showcase the box. And here is the box for you guys, looking fantastic indeed. This is the second consecutive JC Wings review that I've done so far in this group of model reviews for you guys. If you're interested in checking out what I have in store for the channel, go ahead and check out my community tab. I have outlined what is coming very soon. So here we have top left left hand corner we have the JC Wings logo here, and next to that we have the Iraqi Airways logo just there. Very cool. On the right side we have the flag of Iraq. To the left and not to the right we have the registration of the aircraft, Yankee India Alpha Tango Charlie. Here we have the emblem or logo of Boeing here, looking fantastic as ever. Here we have where it says JC Wings. On the United 777 it had Boeing here. Check it out, top right corner right about now if you missed out on that review. Here we have the emblem or the logo of Iraqi Airways, which is on the tail fin, as you can see just there. Here we have where it states that this is a Boeing 787-8 with the 2D rendering of the aircraft below that, looking fantastic in this livery. Here we have where it says that this is a Boeing 787, and where it says die-cast aircraft model in 1:400 scale. On the bottom panel we have the JC Wings logo, the Iraqi Airways logo, and some other logos for the die-cast aircraft model details and the 400 scale aircraft, 787, and then the barcode. This one for the flaps up, this one for the flaps down. Pretty sure they were both released in the same release, so very cool. Here we have where it says that this is a Boeing, JC Wings release here. Iraqi Airways logo, die-cast aircraft model in 1:400 scale. Here we have where it says it is a Boeing 787-8 and a 787 in general. These details are identical to the bottom panel that we saw a moment ago, and the left hand side is identical to the right hand side that we saw a moment ago as well. On the bottom we have some different information other than the usual logos, registration flag, logos there. We have the side-on diagram here of the aircraft, and below that we have the top view, looking fantastic and as ever. JC Wings logo here, and down here on the bottom, center middle bottom, we have the specs of the 787-8 Dreamliner. Very cool indeed, and all in the metric unit. Here we have the awarding information just here, and a little bit of a barcode just here. Not too sure what that leads to, but perhaps it leads to the JC Wings website. Very cool, or it might be their social media platforms as well, their Instagram and their Facebook. So very cool. I'm pretty sure Iraqi Airways has the likes of 777, I believe, a 200LR. I know they also have some A220s as well in this fantastic green livery. Cannot wait, as I mentioned before, to acquire their 787-9 that they have on order. As a 787 fanatic like myself and collector, I am of course collecting every single carrier of the 787 at least once, so I will definitely go ahead and get the Dash 9, as of course the Dash 9 is my favourite variant. Those that didn't know, of course Air New Zealand, my national carrier, was the launch customer of the Dash 9, so that is the main reason of why the Dash 9 is my favourite variant. So anyway, that is this portion of the video done for you guys, the reading out of the airline, the aircraft details, and the showcasing of the box. So let's go ahead and check out the model. And here is the absolutely stunning Iraqi Airways Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner released by JC Wings. As mentioned, this model here was released by JC Wings in their May 2023 release. And in this portion of the video, I'm going to showcase the model up close to the camera for you guys, giving you some nice up close shots of the details on this model, giving you some insights about what what some of the components do in the event of a flight. So let's go ahead and dive in straight into the review of the model. First and foremost, zooming into the model for you guys, and then of course getting it up close to the shot and focusing. There we go. Now have a look at how beautiful this model aircraft is, guys. Like, it is simply outstanding. JC Wings have definitely hit the mark in terms of the details on this aircraft, because Iraqi Airways being one of those 787 carriers that I was looking forward to getting. If you're interested in checking out what is in my collection, go ahead and check it out. There will be a link in the description below leading to my Madbee account. Go ahead and check out my details there. So here we have at the front of the aircraft, you can see the nose cone of the aircraft. Underneath that, inside the nose cone, is a component called the weather radar. Now, the weather radar is there to detect storms along the flight path of a flight, for the flight plan of the flight, to give the pilots or people who are in the cockpit a visual indication of the rainfall intensity ahead of them, and of course the possibility of turbulence as well. This enables them to navigate around any potential hazardous areas along the flight plan that they've assigned for the flights. So very cool indeed. Here we have the window wipers, nicely seen on most of the JC Wings molds or JC Wings releases of the 787s. Also seen on some of the Gemini Jets releases as well that have have the JC Wings mold on them. Of course, JC Wings and Gemini Jets have that contract agreement to use the same factory facilities for their molds. So very cool, nicely looking, large. They're not so much black that to the naked eye that when I'm looking at it here, they're more like an off brown color, but they do the job in terms of showcasing the nice tinge that the 787's cockpit windshield, the windshields usually have, especially when they're at the gate. Here we have the nice and large billboard titles of the name of this aircraft, which of course is Iraqi. This was the first of their 787s for their collection, for their fleet. I mentioned earlier that they have a total of 2 787-8s, and this one of course was the first one. Here we have some little knickknacks here to the right of the word Iraqi. There we can see the angle of attack there. Now that's also known as the AOA sensor. That offers a visual indication of the amount of lift the wings are generating at a given airspeed or angle of bank. Below that we can see the pitot tubes. Now they are used to measure fluid flow velocity during a flight. And of course below that we can see the nose gear. As you can see, moves freely on the axis there. Because ATC, Alpha Tango Charlie, the last three digits of the registration of this aircraft, which of course is Yankee India Alpha Tango Charlie. Very cool. Now here we have the L1 boarding door, the first of the main boarding doors on the 787-8 Dreamliner. Of course, the second one would be right here, the L2 boarding door. Very cool. Nice look of the beacon light on top of the fuselage. Of course, that an essential piece of showcasing when you're on the ground servicing the aircraft. This is the LED beacon light, of course, for the 787s. Those bright red flashing lights. Seen also on the bottom of the aircraft. You can see just there, just vaguely. Of course, they are there to signify when the engines are in use or about to be turned on. Here we have the first of the antennas on this aircraft, and then we have the SATCOM, the Wi-Fi dome. Of course, that provides the IFE entertainment on board the aircraft, seen behind each of the seats, but in those TV screens. Here we have the billboard titles for Iraqi Airways, written in from right to left in Arabic, of course. Now here's a fancy way of knowing whether this is a 787-8, 9 or 10. Of course, the amount of windows that are in between the two forward doors here, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 windows in between the L1 and L2 doors. I believe on the dash 9 it would be 14, and on the dash 10 I believe it's 19 or something similar to that. I'll put a graphic on the screen right about now showing you the differences for them, just an easy way to identify which of the variants is which. So very cool. Now here we have in the middle of the shot, we can see what is the pedostatic system. This is used to determine an aircraft's airspeed, Mach number, altitude, and altitude trend. So very cool indeed. Here we have the wing box of the aircraft with some nice little knickknacks there, and then we have the wing light just in the middle of the shot, just trying to get a nice angle for you guys so I can focus on it for you guys. There it is there. Now that is a mandatory, the mandatory use of this device here, or part of the aircraft, is when the aircraft is entering an active runway, about to depart the airfield or landing into the airfield that they're arriving into. Within 0 and 10,000 feet, it is required to be turned on. Of course, above 2,000 feet is up to the pilot's discretion when it is turned on or off. So very cool indeed. Because there is another little wing light just somewhere on the fuselage. I'm not too sure. I think it might be here. I think it's this here, or it might be further down the aircraft somewhere along here. It's another little wing light that illuminates light onto the leading edge of the wing here, and of course into the intake of the engine. Going to the engine, here we have this nice looking engine here. Of course, this is the first of the Gen X 1 Bravo engines, of course the GE variant of the 787's engines. Right on the top there, we can see the vortex generator that is there to that is used to deflect any of the airflow that is heading towards the leading edge of the wing going over. It's the little vapor trail you see when the aircraft is rotating out of an airfield or an airport. Of course, that little vapor trail that goes over the wing. So very cool. Here is a little sneaky peek into the engine there, if I can get it to focus for you guys. Looking rather cool indeed. I'll try and get a better shot of that later on in the video. But of course, another wee fancy design of the 787 is of course the clamshell designed chevrons on the rear of the engine's nacelle here. Very nice indeed. Of course, there we have the exhaust of the Gen X 1 Bravo engine. Here we have a nice look of the landing gear of this aircraft. Trying to focus on it for you guys. As you can see, they do roll on this aircraft, but they do not pivot on the axis or the strut. As you can see, the strut is quite thick, if I say so myself. I'm not sure if it was the same on the nose gear, but the struts do look quite thick on the landing gear here. But here we have the nice leading edge, or details on the leading edge of this wing here, because these are the slats on the forward part. On the backward part, it would be the flaps, or the trailing edge, because it's the trailing side of the wing. It's the forward part leading towards the nose of the aircraft, and it nicely curved Dreamliner's wing here. One of my favorite features of the 787 Dreamliner family is of course how much wing flex these wings can generate when it is rotating out of an airfield. I've heard that the wingtips, these raked wingtips, can sweep up to about 9 or 12 feet, which is crazy to think about. But here we have the red bit. This is the navigation light on this side. There should be in the event of flight, it's not on the wing, but next to that would be the white strobe light. That's the bright LED white lights you can see on the 787. In the event of flight, when that strobe light is flashing once, you can tell that it is a Boeing. If it flashes twice, it is an Airbus. A good way to identify whether it is one of either Airbus or a Boeing in terms of the two main manufacturers in the world of aviation. Here is the other side's wing here, looking rather fancy indeed, if I say so myself. Nicely detailed where it says no step. Of course, not advised to go over the side of the black line there. That's what, of course, that's the warning information. Very cool. Now here we have the L3 door. Not so much a boarding door, more an emergency exit door, if anything else. Of course, that's where the slides come out, because the emergency slides would fold out of each of the doors, but this of course is mainly an emergency exit door. Here we have where it states that this is a Dreamliner. Of course, that is the name of the 787 program. I think the 777-200 LR was known as the Worldliner, but of course the 787 family in general, the Dash 8, Dash 9 and Dash 10s are all known as Dreamliners, so very cool and indeed. Wonder what you would call it, the A350. Let me know what you think would be the best way to the nickname of the 350 family. Here we have the second of the, or it must be, no, this is the first of the bottom antennas. And then we have two more just to the front of the leading edge of the tail fin there. Here we have somewhat of a baggage compartment on this side of the fuselage. Of course, the other side is for where where the other two main cargo doors are located, which I'll show you in a moment. And of course, above that we have the registration of this aircraft, Yankee India Alpha Tango Charlie. And then we have the fourth door on this side, known as the L4 door. Of course, the letter L in all of these doors, the L1, L2, L3, L4. The letter L is to signify or represent that this is the left-hand side of the aircraft. Here is the flag of Iraq. Very nice indeed. And then we have the aircraft designated titles that show that this is a 787-8. So very cool. Now here we have the nicely coloured dark green empennage of the aircraft, or the vertical fin or the tail fin. Very nicely done. I love the colours of this livery. They're quite nice on the 777 as well, and also the 777-200 LR that the Iraqi Airways have, and they also have A220s as well. Very nice indeed. And then we have the tail plane of the aircraft with the side elevator, which you can see the landing light on. That little small little dot there's also another one on the other side. That is known, as I mentioned, the tail light or the logo light that is used to illuminate light onto the tail fin during night operations to help identify what the airline is to anyone who is in the control tower or in the vicinity of the airport. Of course, to any pilots that may want to know, they're given instructions like Emirates 204, follow the Iraqi 787 ahead of you or something like that, so that they would be looking out for where the aircraft is. So that's very cool. It also could be a marketing tool for anyone within or around an airfield who want to fly the airline. So very cool. Here we have the APU, Auxiliary Power Unit, which is the full name of the APU abbreviation there, with the strobe lights. Not really seen much on models in the scale, but it's nice to see that it is represented in or on this model in general. Another one of the white strobe lights that are also seen on the right wingtips of the wing. So very cool. To the side of the tail here, there should be where the APU inlet is, the little door that folds out when the engines are being turned on. So very cool. And let's have a wee change of the angle in terms of looking at the other side of the aircraft, looking at the other main differences on this side. Here we have the first of the differences, which of course is the emergency escape hatch, which of course is where the pilots on board the aircraft would evacuate the aircraft. Very cool. And then we have the forward baggage compartment to the front here. We have the rear baggage compartment to the rear of the aircraft. That large red rectangle there is known as where the ram air turbine would be located, otherwise known as the RAT, R-A-T. That's that small propeller light device that comes down below the aircraft to give some electric help to the engines when need be. So very cool. And at the end of the wing here, we can see the green navigation light just here, opposed to the red one on the opposite side. let's have a look at the belly of the aircraft before I showcase the engines again. Like I said, so at the beginning, or when I showed the engines before. Here we have the nose gear door. It's of course where the doors that would fold out when the aircraft's nose gear is either being retracted or extended. So very cool. Here we have the antenna that the beacon light I showed earlier on in the video, and of course the nice grey outline of where the landing gear doors would be with the stand hole in between them. Nice look of the underside of the wing, looking fancy indeed. Not too sure what this red dot is, so let me know what this is in the comments below, and I'll add that in future videos. Here is the registration of the aircraft on the underside of the wing. Yankee India Alpha Tango Charlie. So very cool. Here's another view of where the ram air turbine would be. Very cool. A nice look of the underside of this antenna here. And then we get to the entryway of the APU. And of course is those little doors for easy access to the APU for the ground engineers. Very, very cool. Now here we have the engines again. Let's see if I can get a nice shot of the engines here. Nice look of the fan blades. I like how you can see straight through them. Very, very nice indeed. I would highly recommend anyone to pick up this model if you haven't already got it in your collection. Iraqi Airways, of course, not really known worldwide, but I mean, it was nice to get this model in my collection, as of course it is an operator of the 787, so I was bound to get it at some point in time. There are very few airlines that I don't have of the 787 family, but the next one that I'm hoping to get would either be the Tango Airlines or Riyadh Air, in terms of the the accurate registration, the Saudi registration. I think it is Hotel Zulu Romeo X-Ray Alpha Alpha. So looking forward to entry models releasing that in the near future. So that is this portion done for you guys. Let me know in the comments below what you enjoyed in today's video. Let me know if there's any feedback you have in terms of what I can improve on with these model reviews. If you did enjoy what you saw, go ahead and leave a thumbs up below. Of course, it would be a great indication of how much you enjoyed today's video and of course the content here on this channel. Go ahead and support me even further by subscribing to the channel below, and once you're there, turn the notifications on by clicking the notification bell next to the subscribe button, and of course make sure you set the notifications to all. That of course is the essential part to get the notifications as soon as the videos go live onto the channel, of course. If you're wanting to, or if you would like to come along and support me even further on my social media channels, on my Instagram page, and of course here on YouTube as well, and all the other array of social media channels I have, there are additional links in the description below or in the pinned comment, or you can go ahead and scan the QR code you can see on the screen now. That will lead you straight to my Linktree page, because of course if you don't have the means to scan any of those QR codes, those links are in the description below for easy access, of course. So that is this video done for you guys. So thank you very much for coming along and tuning into this model review of this Iraqi Airways Boeing 787-8 released by JC Wings in their May 2023 release. If you liked what you saw and you want to come along and tune into more content like this, soon enough on the end screen will be some options for you guys. On the left hand side will be my most recent video here on this channel. On the right hand side will be the full playlist of model reviews I've done so far here on the channel. In the middle will be able to subscribe, of course. But until next time, guys, fly safe, stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.